Hello everybody, Margot here, out on a snowy walk. So, I'm just going to kind of hang out for a minute here till some people are on live. Hello people. So, I have been thinking a lot this week about a lot of things, one of which is, like, what is it that I want to kind of bring to the table in 2021 as we start approaching that time. So this time of year makes me think of is like starting to plan for the coming year, especially since it's cold and snowy and dark here. So I've got a lot of time to be kind of in the house thinking. And yeah, so I did this really fun test, I guess is what it is, called Strengths Quest. Gallup's Strengths Quest. I did it a couple years ago, and I thought it was really useful. So I guess this is for two reasons that I'm talking about this. One, if you're struggling to figure out kind of what it is you bring to the table, what your strengths are, I would really recommend this tool. And then there's a lot of people out there who are good at using that tool in terms of like coaching. So I originally did the tool when I was working with a therapist, and that was helpful. And then I dug the results out and worked with a friend of mine who is now a Strengths Quest coach, and we did a coaching session, which was really cool. So I was thinking about it again as I think about, like, what am I going to be offering in 2021? Is it going to be the same things? Is it going to be different? And I had a really cool session this week with someone who was finishing up our Birth Warrior project, which is a doula training. And it's more than just a doula training, right? Like, it includes all the things the doula training should include, but most do not. Anyways, that's for another day. But it was really cool to work one-on-one with this person, thinking about, the location where she lives, what's already available, what's missing in her birth community, what she wants to be doing, the kinds of clients she wants to be working with as a doula, and what's currently working well and what is not working well for her as a doula. She's been doing it about 2 years. And so tying those two things together, my number one strength is strategizing, and another one of my strengths is resourcing. So I am really good at helping ask the right questions so that people can get more clarity around what, again, is working well and what is not, and sort of seeing things from the bird's eye view in a way that a lot of people either can't for themselves or just aren't great at in general. And so, we only spent an hour on the phone together, but I feel pretty confident that a lot of what I suggested, both in terms of like actual strategy, like action items, and then also tweaks with her online presence, and how to structure some of her offers, is really going to make a big difference for her going forward. So that's all to say that I don't have the complete package figured out quite yet, but I am imagining that Maren and myself are going to be offering packages soon for people who are birth workers, who are trying to figure out how to actually make a living doing this, because if you don't make a living doing birth work, you eventually just stop doing birth work. It's pretty hard to maintain as a side hustle for any length of time, and it's really hard to feel sustained and supported by this work if you aren't able to pay your bills, and maybe more than pay your bills, like actually take care of yourself and your family. So we've definitely seen that is the case, which is why we include a lot of business focus in all of our programs, both for doulas and for midwives. And that's why we're always experimenting and honing and focusing on that ourselves where we live, so that we can provide our students with really current best practices and strategies, there's that word again, to make this work for them. Because if we want more, so one of our missions, right, is to create more birth workers. So it's simple enough to teach people the actual information. Like, we have a really great system for teaching doulas. We have a really great system for teaching midwives. The other part that often is so neglected is how do we help them then take this into the world and make an actual living doing it. So we've been focusing on that, but I foresee a larger focus on that. And like I mentioned, an actual way to work one-on-one with Maren and myself with coaching around how to make your doula business or your midwifery business or whatever you want to call yourself, birth education business, really make it work for you wherever you live. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would love if you'd send me a message just letting me know kind of what some of your struggles are. My idea right now, and I might send this out today or soon depending on how crazy my children are at home when I get there, but my idea at the moment is that I want to offer 2 or 3 of these packages for free for people who would be willing to let me record the sessions, and also do some testimonials for us. So sort of like a beta test. It would be extremely valuable. This is not going to be a cheap package by any stretch when we do put it together, because like I said, you'll have Maren and myself one-on-one for a period of time, making sure that you are successful in your work and tweaking things until you are successful in your work. And we would only be working with people that we feel confident actually have kind of, the bare bones essentials of what it takes to make that happen. So cool. That's what I've been thinking about. Strategizing, how to make more sustainable birth workers in the world. And from there, then helping those birth workers make change in their communities. Because you can't make change in your community if you're doing this part-time. I mean, maybe you can, but you're going to make part-time change if you're doing part-time work. And there's a lot of things that people do that are just really not effective. So I guess since it's popped into my head and I have a little ways to go before I get home, a lot of people just do really strange and ineffective pricing structures, both for doulas and for midwives. In general, just people's approach with money is really timid and there's a lot of shame around it, and that does not work if you're wanting to actually, again, have this bigger picture of what it is you're trying to do and what you actually need in order to do it. So if I didn't have a way to pay my mortgage, and my birth work business was not going well, I would have to go do something else. I'd either have to change what I'm doing and still be an entrepreneur, or go work for somebody, right? So if I really care about birth, then you have to care about, unless you're independently wealthy, making the money so that you can focus on birth for the good of all in your community. So some other things that I see commonly are people trying to do free topic nights, but without a whole lot of purpose or drive behind them. I also see a lot of people who are, this is probably the most common thing, and it's something we talk a lot about in the Birth Warrior Project. We see a lot of people who try to appeal to everyone and be like the doula who can be everything for everyone, and it's just not possible. And so we really encourage you, and part of this coaching process would be to figure out what you actually want to be doing, who you want to be working with, and why, and being really unapologetic about that. Because the most common thing that we hear, and I don't know if it's just because of what we do here at indiebirth, but I suspect that this is the case across a lot of the doula world, people who are interested in birth learn enough about birth that they begin to prefer attending unmedicated vaginal and often home births. And a lot of doulas start out not feeling that way, and then quickly start feeling that way, and then feel bad about themselves for having that preference. And unsure of kind of how to channel that energy and that preference in a way that works for themselves and their clients. So, that's something we work a lot with the students in our Birth Warrior project, who I get to talk to in a couple hours at our weekly Birth Warrior project student coaching call. And we're probably going to dive a lot deeper into all of these topics tonight, since that's what's on my mind. So that's it for me. Just thinking a lot about money today on Black Friday. I don't think we're going to buy anything today, because I gratefully have all that I need and more. Too much stuffing in my fridge and too much cranberry sauce, but we'll persevere. So yeah, thinking a lot about money, thinking about buying stuff, thinking about people buying crap they don't need. And I would encourage you to not buy crap that you don't need. And if you do need help with your birth work business, if you're struggling to figure out how to make it happen, if you have the passion but can't figure out the business piece, send us a message. Wave to the neighbors. Send us a message about what's going on for you, what you've tried, and we might pick a few of you to do some free sessions with as part of the launch of this new package that we're going to be offering, with more details to be revealed soon.